Let's try this again. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here, Ballard Sports Media. There we go. Seems like it's all working. What's going on? Love each and every one of you. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. This is going to be a really quick one tonight. I was going to do it later on, like in an hour or so, but my grandfather is coming up tonight. So I figured I'd go ahead and get it taken care of, spend some time with him tonight. So just wanted to go ahead and knock it out. Really quick show tonight. Just straight to the point. Want to look at some games, give my thoughts on some games. I know I said some stuff in my live stream earlier about some teams or whatever. And look, Ohio State's great. I do think they are one of the more overrated teams, right? Like I feel like maybe they're a little bit hyped up, a little bit more than maybe they should be. I don't know. But, you know, it's one of those things where you have these great teams, right? I know Georgia's great. I've been saying that. I've been picking them since the offseason to be the national title pick, right? I've been picking them. I think they're going to do it. I think they got the talent. They're loaded. Depth is it an issue? Backup wise, no. They got a lot of young talent behind the starters and everything, but it's not too much of an issue. I'll admit that. It's just let's just be honest. You Georgia fans, and I said it earlier, and I got much love and respect for them. Uncle Lou, Jess Hall, Trenches, Big Dog Brett, all of you. But some of you out there are just like, if we don't win a title this year, my goodness, wow. Well, here's the thing. This is your last chance right now. This is it. It's plain and simple. Beat whoever comes out of the West. And I'm not giving up on my Tide. I want them to win it all. I want Alabama to win every game. I want it. But as a sportscaster, as an analyst, you can't pick your team every time. And at this point, I like what I see from Auburn, and they always give Alabama a tough road. They always give them a tough game, especially at Jordan-Hare. They're in the way a bit, right? So, look, can Alabama, anybody, well, not now, but like one-loss teams still in competition, like Iowa could win the title. Michigan State could win it. Michigan could win it. Baylor could run the table and sneak up on Oklahoma. I know it might sound crazy, but if you think about it, let's be honest. Did anybody expect that from LSU in 2019? That was a team that the year before they won a title and had one of the best teams ever, lost to Troy at home. No disrespect to the Troy Trojans. We love all the teams here in Alabama, right? But come on, LSU, what are you doing? I'll go ahead and pull up the schedule, too. I'd like to do some pick'ems here. We got quite a few games. We have Troy on right now. What do you know? Coastal Carolina, yeah. You got South Florida and East Carolina. I'm going to check real quick. Let's see what these scores are. Coastal is down 7-0 to Troy. No score yet. Almost the end of the first. East Carolina and South Florida tied at 0 currently. You got some games like Navy and Tulsa tomorrow. It's not really that good, although it being Navy, salute to the troops and those in the academies and everything. Thank you for your service. We love you. UNLV, Nevada. Nevada's 5-2. That's a pretty good record for them. But it's not, let's just be honest, it's not what you need. We don't need that. Saturday is the day. Cincinnati and Tulane. I'm not picking against Cincinnati at all. Until maybe the playoffs, if they make it there, whatever happens in their bowl game. I think they'll win the American Conference, run the table, and everything like that. They'll take care of their business. The big game at noon. Of course, I'm in Central Time. It'd be 11 a.m. for me. Is Michigan State. I'm going to go live for the Ole Miss Auburn game on Saturday night. I plan on it at least. I'll try. We got Michigan State, Iowa, Wisconsin, Texas at Baylor. That could be good. Miami at Pitt. Rutgers, Illinois. I mean, there's a couple of them. But some of these are just straight, like, what in the heck? North Texas and Rice? Really? Texas Tech at Oklahoma? I'd watch it because it's Oklahoma. They're still undefeated. They're top 4. They figured out something else at quarterback with Caleb Williams. I'd watch it for that. Colorado, Oregon. Let me check the line on that. We'll look at these games and do some pick'ems too, by the way. 24 points, Oregon at home. Colorado's 2-5. That's a sleep. I mean, there's no reason they should drop to Colorado. Florida State at Clemson. Normally, I would look at that and say, just another ACC game Clemson has to play. But because Clemson's struggling this year, I look at it and I say, you know what, this intrigues me. Is this going to be another game they drop and struggle in? Is Florida State going to get a win? I doubt it. I think I think Clemson can pull that out. Take care of it. Clemson's 4-3. Florida State's 3-4. Boston College, Syracuse, that'll be good. Syracuse by 6.5 if you look at the line. Well, we'll look at all this in a minute. We'll actually make some picks. What's up, LW? How you doing? Roll Tide. Maybe SMU could sneak up on Cincinnati. Like, give them a scare. I could see that. I'll say that. I'm at the point until they lose and we find out really where they're weak, or until they play an Oklahoma, a Alabama, Auburn, or whoever it is, until they meet up with everyone else that could still make the playoffs or win a conference or something, until they meet up with somebody like that, like a Georgia or whoever, I'd pick them to win against anybody, honestly. Maybe. I mean, they're looking that good. Oh, Cincinnati's up there because they're undefeated and they got this quarterback. I really think Luke Fickell is doing something amazing. I really do. And so on and so forth. You got all these games here. Ole Miss at Auburn. Now, I put out a preview video for that one. Kentucky at Mississippi State could be interesting. Kansas, Oklahoma. Penn State at Ohio State. This is where I argued with some people today. North Carolina, Notre Dame could be good. Maybe. I mean, North Carolina's not looking like what we expected them to. They got some talent. It's in South Bend. I'd watch it because, it's like, okay. Penn State, Ohio State. Yeah. I don't know. I guess, which one could I do first? Do them, pick them. I guess I'll start with Penn State, Ohio State. So let's start with this game right here. Penn State going to Columbus, taking on the Buckeyes. 87% chance that Ohio State wins this. Now, I think this is more so one of those, Ohio State's that good and not necessarily one of those Penn State's that bad. Now, Penn State's not exactly what I expected them to be, or really I don't know. I don't know if it's really anything that anybody expected. And I also got a question too. Um, you know, I wasn't able to put all of the games, but I'll leave this up here real quick. What's the best ranked matchup this week in y'all's opinion? Ole Miss at Auburn, Michigan, Michigan State, Georgia, Florida. I don't know. Michigan State, that'll be pretty good. Getting back to this one though. Penn State going to Columbus, taking on the Buckeyes. 13% chance to win that. Is that too low? Um, it might be. But the Buckeyes, see, I think part of this, like, if you had record rankings, everything's the same, but you put this at Happy Valley, right? Even an afternoon game, I think you give Penn State, obviously, more than a 13% chance to win the game. And I want to look at something real quick. And I probably should have got just a little bit prepared because I'm curious. The last time has Penn State ever won in Columbus? I mean, surely these teams have met plenty of times, right? I'm actually curious. Now, Penn State hasn't beaten Ohio State since 2016. They were unranked. It was at Happy Valley. It was a whiteout. They beat the undefeated. This was like a week 3 or week 4 game. Yeah. It was early on in the season. Ohio State goes to State College and they I apologize for that. Internet issues tonight. Um, but I was talking real quick. Penn State and Ohio State, getting back to that. Um, where was I? Penn State has not won in Columbus since 2011. It's been 10 years. They've lost the last 4. They played them close. They played a 1-point game in Columbus. They played a 1-point game in State College 2 years ago. 3 years, sorry. So it's not like Penn State can't go to Columbus and compete. I think they can. The thing is, I understand the offense of Ohio State. I mean, they're averaging 49 points a game. That's like 23 points more than what Penn State is averaging, about 26. The defense for Penn State clearly is better, right? And it's great. It's going to be a loud atmosphere. It says it's supposed to rain and be 58 degrees at the stadium, too, by the way. But how do I view this matchup with Penn State and Ohio State? Well, you have to look at it this way. Ohio State is weak on the defensive side of the ball, especially really in the secondary when you look at it. That's where Penn State is strong. See, I think both teams have some good key factors on both sides of the football, but Ohio State's offense, and say whatever you want to. I really don't think that they've played much of a defense like what they'll face out of Penn State. If Penn State wants to use last week and the loss and everything, they've lost a couple games. Like if they want to use it as motivation to shake it off and go forward, then maybe that not necessarily gives Penn State the edge, but it gives them a chip on their shoulder to go on the road. Like, don't sit there and be like, it's in Columbus, they're not going to win. Clearly, we see that they have. It's been literally 10 years. Go back to 2011. And they beat them in 2008, too. And, Ohio State wasn't good then. Ohio State wasn't good. It was top 10 on the road in 2008. Penn State won by 7. And you're going to say that Ohio State wasn't that good. Whoopity-doo. Guess what? I don't care. I really don't. We share this one for you. Let's look at this game together, right? Again, Penn State and Ohio State, 10:30 or 6:30 Central, but it'll be this Saturday on the 30th. Happy Halloween to everybody, by the way. Going to keep my eye on this, but I really want to go live for Ole Miss and Auburn. 87% chance the Buckeyes win, 13% chance that Penn State wins. And I think that's pretty fair. And again, I don't blame them. You know, if this were in Happy Valley this year, Penn State wouldn't necessarily be the favorite, but it'd be higher than an 87-13. It might be somewhere around like, oh crap, I don't know, say 77-23%, somewhere in there. I think for right now, Ohio State's just going to be favored in this game until Penn State is having a better year than Ohio State, which clearly they're not. They're not having a bad year. It's just a little down and unexpected. If anything, for Penn State, they come off a loss. They actually come off 2 losses. They lost in 9 overtimes to Illinois. They lost 23-20 to Iowa. I get the Iowa loss. Iowa's looking amazing. They have one of the better defenses in the country, right? Illinois, that's no excuse. 9 overtimes, 2-point loss at home. Penn State has got to bounce back. Their offense has declined. Now, they have one of the better receivers in the draft in Jahan Dotson, right? So, they got this key receiver. Sean Clifford is the key guy everyone's looking at. He came off an injury last week. He came into this game, and he looked okay to start, but then he struggled and everything. And now he's here, and I'm reading things that he's healthy. He'll be able to play on Saturday. He'll be able to play, right? Okay. Is Sean Clifford's the guy? Well, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I mean, it kind of does. I mean, Penn State is nothing without Sean Clifford. That's fair. The Buckeyes defense is giving up maybe about 18.5. It says 18.6 points a game. It's pretty good. They've had some better defenses in the past. They're better against the rush than the passing. And the same would be said for Penn State's defense too. Better line. You have some key guys to watch. Ronnie Hickman is a safety. Cody Simpson, Tommy Eichenberg on the line at linebacker. Haskell Garrett, obviously. Antoine Jackson. There's a few key guys on the Ohio State defense that are going to try to match up, I think, with Penn State's offensive line and get pressure on Sean Clifford. And Sean Clifford has guys like Parker Washington Lambert, Smith, Jahan Dotson, of course, the key guy. Noah Cain, the running back. He's got weapons to work with. Watch the defense, though. Brandon Smith and Ellis Brooks, two duo linebackers that I love watching. PJ Mustafa is a defensive tackle. Tariq Castro Fields is a corner who's very electric, can guard. I don't want to sit here and hype him up, say he can guard anybody in the nation, any receiver, but he's really good in man-to-man and staying on target with his receivers. He slips up every now and then, but he's a key guy to watch. You got Jaquan Brisker. You got Joey Porter. There's a few key guys on the Penn State defense to watch. And you match that up. I think Penn State has the edge defensively. And yeah, I'd say C.J. Stroud versus Sean Clifford. Sean Clifford more experienced. Does that mean he's better? Sometimes I want to say experience, means you're a better quarterback, but that's just not the case. That just means he's played more. He's been around more. We've heard him more. C.J. Stroud has more passing yards. Travion Henderson, the running back for Ohio State, has 693. Compare that to Noah Cain, who's got 254. Right? It's like on offense, rushing, receiving, and passing yards, Ohio State leads in all of those categories. But it's not a super huge margin. It's pretty close. Overall, I really want to see Penn State win this game. I'd like to see them get back, get an upset. I don't know what it is, but I kind of want we all do. Unless you're a Buckeye fan, you want to see Ohio State drop a couple games. You're tired of it. I want chaos is what I want. I'm going to be honest. I think Penn State could keep it close. It says an 18.5-point spread. I don't know if they'll cover that necessarily. I'm not even going to try to bet it, but I'm going to say this. Give me Ohio State with this game. I'm not taking the points. Could Penn State go on the road and get the upset? Anything's possible. Any given Saturday, I believe in that. Who needs to win more, first off? I guess the Buckeyes? Or maybe you sit there and say Penn State because they could still go on. And, they could still win the East. It's still down to 4 teams. Penn State has yet to play Michigan State and Michigan. Those are the 2 undefeated teams that we're watching this weekend go head-to-head in the rivalry game, right? Penn State goes to Michigan on rivalry week, or goes to Michigan State, on rivalry weekend. And in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, they play Michigan at home. Play Maryland next week. That'll be okay. That's okay. You can get that game. Then you got Michigan. Then you got Rutgers. Then you got Michigan State. These last 5 games are not all that easy. You got to take care of Ohio State. I think they can. I want them to win this game, but if I'm being smart here, just being honest, I think Ohio State's going to win it. Now, I think Penn State competes a bit. I do think that. But give me the Buckeyes in this one straight up. Give me the Buckeyes. And give them good 30. I'm going to say 35-21. Maybe they win by 14. Penn State's going to put some points up. I just don't think ultimately it'll be enough. But give me the Buckeyes over the Penn State Nittany Lions in this game this Saturday on October 30th. So there's that one. Again, Penn State's got a lot. They do. They have talent. But, I think Ohio State has a little bit more. And again, I know I said some stuff earlier. Oh, Penn State could do it. Penn State, they're not going to do it. Ballard, we really don't know. What's the first play going to be of the game? Do you know that? Is someone going to get hurt tomorrow and be out? We don't know. You never know. You make assumptions. Go with your gut. There. So we picked that one. Ohio State and Penn State. Now I'll get back to this one. I want to see if the line has changed because I did the Spartans and the Wolverines preview, and I ended up going Michigan State 34, Michigan 23. I like both defenses, but I also like the offenses. I think it'll be one of those. I think Michigan State will pull away type of thing. Honestly, when I look at it, oh, that's right, MSU fan. I'm sorry, buddy. In fact, actually, tell you what I'll do, and I apologize. I got to make it up to them. MSU fan, I'm going to drop the link here, and I'll let only you on, and we can talk about this game because he wanted to talk with me about this game here. So tell you what, I'm not going to do too I already did a stream earlier, but MSU fan, if you want to click that and come on in here, we can talk about this game. But I picked Ohio State over Penn State in that one. But like I was saying too, I ended up picking the Spartans at home, 34-23. It's a 4-point spread. I don't know, and it has dropped. It was 4.5 the other day. I have and maybe I'm crazy. I really think it'll be one of those weird situations where Michigan State will pull away. I don't know why. But it's close. Michigan has the better defense when you look at it in points given up and yards allowed. And they have the better offense. But who's the better quarterback? Who's having a better year? Kenneth Walker, I think, is one of the more – I think he might be the best running back I've seen, at least in the Big Ten. Not in college football. He's one of the best backs I've seen. You got Cornelius Johnson, Jaden Reed, the two key receivers, one on each. Look, I'm gonna stick to it. 34-23, Michigan State over Michigan. Yep. But I'll make it up to you here. MSU fan, I apologize, man. I completely forgot that we had emailed the other day. But it's good to have you on here, man. You want to talk about the game and the rivalry and what it means?
Yep. Give me 1 second, Ballard.
Yeah.
College game day will be there, so it's a big one.
Yeah, it is. And, they had a couple different choices, but I think definitely this being a top 10 matchup, they're both 7-0. They're both 4-0 in conference play. I mean, everything's pretty much even. Even on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, there's only maybe a 3-point difference in scoring points per game for both of these teams. But you're a Michigan State fan, and you've been on here a couple times, but what is it? Why are the Spartans going to win this game outside of it just being a home game? What do they have that Michigan does not?
Special teams.
There you go. Is it the defensive special teams? Is it the punting? What is it?
It's the punt team and punt return game. Jay Reed has 2 punt return touchdowns this season.
I've seen him do that. They, he's really good. He's fast. He's like the Jalen Waddle of Michigan State this year. Give him the ball, and he's got some speed, and he's really good with his hands too. When he's out on the field and he's catching the ball, Peyton Thorne is good in the pocket. I think McNamara is too for Michigan. Just overall, like on paper, you look at this and you say, you know, give me Michigan's offense. But honestly, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be close. I do think you guys are going to win this game. I predicted it the other day.
Yep.
But I'll still say that Michigan plays you guys close. This is a good rivalry, and I was honest too the other day, but I've never actually sat down to watch a whole like full 60 minutes of this rivalry. What can I expect? Because I'm going to try to sit down and watch this one.
Yeah, the game will be on Fox at 12.
Yeah.
A bunch of hard hitting. And Kenny Walker him and Speedy Naylor have speed that's, you can't coach the tackle speed.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at the Rutgers game, Naylor had 3 touchdowns in the first half. To a 63 and one of 65.
Yeah.
And Kenny Walker broke the all-time longest play from scrimmage, 94-yard touchdown run.
That's awesome.
Matt Coughlin owns the most field goals in Michigan State history.
Yeah, and what's that record? He's the current kicker, right? I can probably just look at that. Hold on. So he's kicked the most field goals. Let's see. It's probably not going to. Did he set the record, I guess, this year?
Yeah.
Or like Ben said it, I guess.
Yeah, he said it against Rutgers.
Let's see here. So he scores 60 points for you guys. His longest is 51 yards.
Yep.
He's 100% on his extra points. 66.7% of the time he can hit a field goal. That's really good for a kicker.
Yep.
That's really good. He is 6 of 6 when kicking from between 20 and 29 yards. Obviously, just go up to 30. His longest is 51. He's 1 of 3 from 50 plus yards. So it's not one of those like, oh, he can hit it from like the parking lot or whatever, but he's pretty spot on with his kicking, it seems like, stat wise.
Yep, that career long was set last year in Ann Arbor against Michigan.
That's awesome.
He was hitting 55-yard field goals against Northwestern in pregame warm-ups, and he missed a 60-yarder by a couple of feet.
Yeah. Hey, you can't hit them all, though, but I hate when people down kickers. Oh, I can't believe he missed it. I can't believe he didn't hit the game winner. It's not an easy job. Really, football is not an easy job, but especially for kicking, man, you can't let your foot slip. You know the pressure's on you. You're shaking. It's not easy, right?
You made the game winner.
Yeah, go ahead.
He made the game winner against Penn State in 2017 in Spartan Stadium. It was wet.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yep. And they say, oh, well, kicking is easy. Why don't you try to kick it in the rain?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I think a good signature win for you guys and I think this was the beginning of Michigan State's climb this year was that Miami win. What have you seen from them since that game with growth and like what has been the most impressive thing about this year's Spartans team so far?
Probably the offensive line.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We only gave up 10 sacks so far.
Yeah.
That's against the Miami defense, who was supposed to be the best. They're the best. Miami's not Miami this year. They're not.
Yeah, they're not.
Then
Oh,
Derek King got hurt in that game as well. He came back in.
yeah.
Then we're 3 of 6 on 4th downs.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, what is it that you want to give? Like, I'm sure you never really want to say anything about. I know you call him Exogen, but
Yeah,
I'll say it. Yeah. But what is it about the Wolverines? I'll say
yeah.
that you look at and say, you know what, that's pretty good, and that might be a challenge for Michigan State because I think their defense is really really good. They're only giving up maybe 14 points a game. Um, they've only allowed 116 rushing yards. They're one shy. They're like 1 yard away from like only giving up 300 yards through. I mean, they've played 7 games, but what is it about Michigan that worries you about the Spartans and anything that just stands out to you about the Wolverines?
Aiden Hutchinson, defensive lineman numbers
Yes.
97.
Yes. We were live earlier talking about him, and he's, on the draftnetwork.com. I love hearing these great people that do all this draft content. He is number 6 in their rankings of all the players. If you were to do a mock draft, he is the 6th highest ranked player in next year's draft class, according to the Draft Network. He's good. He's very strong. I mean, he can break through. He's very fast, and that's a key guy that. And I like the Spartans O line this year, but that's where the O line really has to step it up because I don't really think that they've had to block a guy like him yet.
No, and probably the best guy we had to block was probably a guy from Indiana or Rutgers.
Yeah, and that's not really saying much. I mean, they both of those teams are kind of iffy in a way. Like they're just not one of the higher teams you've had to face. I really would say too that this is probably the Spartans and really the Wolverines' first true test this year. Like going head to head like this is where we're going to find out a lot about these teams.
Yes, we will, and whoever wins this game could beat Ohio State.
Could.
Unless Purdue
Okay.
doesn't do that first.
Now see that's what I was talking about too. Like everyone earlier was saying Ohio State's going to win the East. They're that good of a team and everything, and Michigan State or Michigan couldn't beat. I mean, would you even say like if Michigan wins this game and has a pretty good performance and everything, especially like could you see them finally beating the Buckeyes later on?
I could, but it'll take all they got.
Yeah.
Ohio State's not going to go down easy. We seen them against Oregon and Tulsa and Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing. Ohio State struggled quite a bit too, but and you look at Michigan, the closest game. They've only played like one close game. We'll take that back. They played 2. They won 20-13 over Rutgers. They went to Nebraska and played, and they won, but by a field goal, 32-29. They blew out Wisconsin. They blew out Washington. They blew out Western Michigan. Right. So I mean, they've had some blowout games, some impressive wins, I'd say. But again, like I still think this is the first true test for both of these teams, and Michigan's just kind of inconsistent. It's like, are they going to have a struggle win that they shouldn't have, or are they going to blow a team out and look like the team that a lot of people expect them to look like? And that's not really what we're looking for in this game because it's a ranked team, it's a rival, it's undefeated.
Mhm.
Uh, so I mean, if they win it and it's like a 23-20 or whatever, it's like, well, hey, look, they're still top 10. They got a top 10 win now. They beat the rival. Now they're 8-0 with 4 games left of the season. I mean, there's a lot riding on Michigan right now. I think that both teams really haven't met their match yet, is what I'm trying to get at. And I think with this
Yep.
rivalry game, we're going to find out a lot about these teams and where they're at.
Yep.
And they're finally going to get a taste of their own medicine, because I think both sides of the ball for both of these teams have smoked everybody else that they've played this year. And finally, they go head to head, and it's like, hey, this is what you have. We have it too. Let's get on the
Yep.
field and play.
There's one thing that Michigan does not have, and that's a big play wide receiver.
That's true. I mean, they have good receivers, but it's not a particular guy.
Right.
You know,
It's not.
like it's not.
It's not. It's not your Speedy Naylor. It's not Jane Bree. Not Trey Mosley. Not Walker on the backfield. It's not your Tyler Hunt.
Yeah.
It was Ronnie Bell, but he's done for the year. So, and Kate McNair has not thrown a single pass deep downfield. He's going to
Now,
have to do that.
yeah. Now, a key guy I hear a lot about, though, is, and some of their guys are, you have Eric All, who's the tight end. He's more of a good blocking tight end from what I've seen.
Yep.
Dalen Baldwin is good, but their key guy that they've had for quite some time is Cornelius Johnson, but he's never really been he's the automatic go-to guy. He was just one of those guys like, hey, he's really good, just keep your eye on him. But I've heard that name quite a bit.
Yeah, he is. He made a couple plays against Northwestern that Michigan State watched that game, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And there's rumors now that Coach Tucker might be going out to LSU. He said in his press conference, he said he's not focused on that. He's focused on beating the school down the road.
Yeah. No, I got you. I mean, you never want to look ahead. And, you know, the best thing about this game, too, is Michigan has a couple more weeks. They have a month to Ohio State. But even still, like when you look at these teams' schedules, like this is it. This is their test before rivalry weekend. I think you guys play Penn State. You have to play Ohio State too. But I mean, come on, you're playing Purdue on the road next week. I wouldn't sleep on that too much, but I think you're better than Purdue. Maryland's not really any good. I mean, they're improved, but you get them at home.
They're
and
decent.
then there's nothing really to look past this game and look ahead to, at least for right now. You know, like your next games are like in 2 or 3 weeks, if not a month.
Yeah, they're pretty decent competition, though. Maryland beat West Virginia. Purdue beat Oregon State. Almost beat Notre Dame.
They probably should have.
Yeah, everybody should.
You're not wrong there. But yeah, I mean, look, there's no reason to really, like, someone's going to win and someone's going to lose. I don't want to hear from the coaches like, oh, we got caught up because we had Penn State on the road next week, or we had this, because they don't. Oh, we got caught up because, you know, of a game 3 weeks from now. I hate hearing that. This is the game for you guys right now. This is it. And they got to play, and they got to do it well. And, you know, I'm sure it's going to be a packed house at Spartan Stadium. I think College Game Day is going to Michigan State at East Lansing. It's going to be great. I think the Spartans will get the victory, man. But just, you know, any other thoughts on this game? Because this is going to be huge.
We got something big. That's a good punter. Bryce Beringer.
Yeah.
He had 2 punts of 60+ against Miami.
Wow. That's a punter. 60. I can understand maybe doing it one time, but 2 times in the same game, that's impressive.
There he had a 55, 58, I think a 53 yard. Arrow pinned inside Miami territory too, so inside their own 5.
Yeah.
And that don't happen very often.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Who are some of your favorite players to watch on defense that you think don't get enough attention that we should keep an eye on this Saturday?
Drew Beasley and Jacob Panashuk on the D-line.
Drew Beasley and Jacob who?
Panashuk.
Oh, I see him right here. Okay. He's got 9 solo tackles, assist on 14. He's got 5.5 sacks for a total loss of 37 yards. That's incredible. And then you mentioned Drew Beasley. He's got 11 tackles on the year, 2.5 sacks, loss of 17 yards. I'll tell you what, you also have some guys that can force some fumbles and make some big hits too. Overall, when I look at y'all's defense, I think it's probably, if it's not the best, maybe second best. I don't know. It's one of the better in the Big Ten, and if not college football. And I really I did not expect this from Michigan State. Like I went into the season, I think we talked about them over the offseason or whatever, you and I, and we're like, they're going to be good. They're going to bring this back. But you as a fan, did you expect them to be this good where they are right now as we head to November next week?
Nope. I was not expecting this.
What would you you hit this game on October 30th. They're 7-0, but what would you have said the record would have been? Because I would have guessed maybe, okay, they could be like 5-2 or 4-3. I don't know about 7-0.
I probably have said 6-1, 5-2.
Okay, and that's fair.
And not knowing what Miami team are going to get, because Miami beat themselves in that game.
That's true. And Michigan State did some things right, but like you said, I remember watching that game, and I do agree with you that Miami did beat themselves up because, I mean, they're coming off, they had not only a loss to Alabama, they had a big-time loss, which I didn't expect. All the hype around De'Aaron King and everything, and, they just didn't get it together. And the worst part is, too, is that, the best part for you guys was the fact that you got a road win. For Miami, it's like we lost it. Oh, can't believe this.
That's the first time.
And they've been losing to teams like Virginia.
You almost lost to Appalachian State.
It's the first time what?
We ever beaten Miami.
Yeah.
And then Miami.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
They probably got an Appalachian State hangover from a week before.
That's true.
They very beat App State.
Yeah, I would agree. But what would you say? Is this? Oh, go ahead and say whatever you were fixing to say.
I think Tennessee's improved.
I'm going to be honest. After the offseason they did give Bama somewhat of a game there, and honestly, they've looked pretty good this year. I mean, they're not great, obviously. They still kind of suck, but it's better than what we expected.
And Bama beat themselves at times in that game, too.
Yeah, they got a little bit carried away, I think, at some points, and they just kind of got away from what they're used to. Now, they were able to hold on, get it together in the fourth quarter, and put the game away, but still, I mean, getting back to this game here, 4-point spread, 50.5 is the over-under. I guess I'll leave you with this because I really don't have much. I mean, we see great defense on both teams. We see great offense. It's in East Lansing. It's a rivalry game. And, again, Michigan, it's been back and forth. It's not really a big streak. You guys won last year in Ann Arbor. If you're truly better this season and everything, and you guys were unranked.
Yep.
I'm curious. I want a score prediction, and I also want your final thoughts, why you're beating Michigan this weekend.
I'm going to say Michigan State wins it 48-31.
Ooh, a shootout. I like it.
Michigan has the talent, but McNair has not faced a defense like Michigan State.
That's true. And even points, it won't be enough to pull past the Spartans.
And he hasn't made a big throw downfield yet this year either.
That's true. I noticed it's a bunch of slants over the middle and everything, and they haven't really faced a defense like what they're going to face on Saturday too.
And really, they have no receiver. I mean, they do, but they don't have that one guy, two guys. Michigan State has 2 or 3 guys to go to. Well, 4 if you put Kenny Walker on the backfield.
That's
and really,
true.
Michigan State have the home crowd behind them too. Plus, Mike Hart's coming back. He made his little brother comment in 2006. Michigan State remembers that comment. He made them Miss Lansing.
They'll never forget it. It's like, trust me, not this weekend. They're on bye, but next weekend, I don't care what LSU's look like. I get it. Coach O's gone after the season. They suck as a program right now. But if you think Alabama is taking this game next week lightly, they're not. Because remember when they beat Alabama at Bryant-Denny, they went to the middle of the field. Coach O was screaming and everything. This is our house from now on. I mean, it's words and everything like that stick with programs for rivals and big-time opponents that they face on a regular basis. And especially that little brother thing that Michigan did to Michigan State kind of, I mean, it's like you can't blame them for it, but it's like, we'll show you, little brother.
Yeah. And I think a good memory of that is 2013.
Yeah.
Michigan had negative 48 rushing yards.
That's true.
So
and Michigan State won that game in East Lansing 29-6. Looking at it here.
Yeah. Yep.
And what's so cool too, I noticed this when I was previewing this game on my own and everything. This rivalry is known for streaks. You go back to 1898, and they played maybe between the first meeting and the second was like 4 years. It started out like being every other year. It wasn't annual, but Michigan won the first 6. You had a tie in there somewhere. Michigan State finally won the 8th meeting. They beat them in 1915. Michigan had a very long streak from 1916 to 1933, 2 ties in between there. But like it's been known for streaks. So I mean, it's not really so much one of those back and forth. Michigan leads it overall 71-37-5. But I'm sure as a Michigan State fan, like the overall record doesn't matter. It's just one of those, let's just focus on beating them this year, right?
Yep. And Michigan should have 72, but we know how their punters are. Last plays of the game.
They should have a couple more in there, honestly. I know you guys have had some close calls.
Yeah. In this game, it could come down to the final play.
Yeah.
And then in 2014, they showed the steak burger house.
Hey, listen. Here as an Alabama fan, I know about games coming down to the final seconds, right?
Yep. And I say this because in 2014, they showed the steak in our grass.
Yeah.
So if your little brother comment, why did you do that?
Yeah, man. But anyway, I mentioned that I do think that the Spartans will win this game. I don't think it's just because they're at home. When in doubt, pick the home team, like I say. I really,
Yeah.
truly think that they're a better team. I think it's very close. And again, I ended up going Michigan State 34, Michigan 23. I'll give you some final words before I let you get out of here, and then we're going to move on with the show.
Yep. Nate, what do you think about the game on Saturday?
He's not in here, but he's talked about it quite a bit this week on my streams.
Yep.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it, and good luck to your Spartans. I'm at least hoping that it's going to be a good game. But again, I'll let you say anything else about the rivalry or the game, and then we'll move on.
I mean, I can remind Nate on Saturday if we want.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah. All right, see you, bud.
Thank you. Appreciate it, MSU fan, giving us good insight as a Michigan State Spartans fan. You know, this whole little brother comment Michigan had years back, huh? They don't take it too lightly. And again, we looked at some stats and everything. It's going to be an amazing game, I think. I think it's going to be good. I like that game day is going there to East Lansing. And, overall, I think it's going to be great. Games to watch. I'm picking Michigan State. I'm taking Georgia over Florida, taking teams like Cincinnati over Tulane. I think Baylor could beat Texas, but keep an eye on it. Ole Miss and Auburn, I just have a gut feeling that Auburn might pull it out. I don't know what it is, but I think so. And if I'm being honest, I know that Ohio State's going to get Penn State. I know it. I don't want to see it. I like James Franklin. I think he's a great coach, and at some point he's got to get them to the Big Ten title. It's like they always have those pieces, but it's just not quite enough. It's not. But we'll see what happens. I mean, again, any given Saturday in college football, any given competition in sports, teams lose games they shouldn't all the time. Every year. It happens. We've seen some upsets already. Could we see some more this weekend? We could. But again, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Appreciate you. Love each and every one of you. I think I'm going to try to do this show on Thursday nights at about 9 Eastern, 8 Central Time. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I love you guys. Appreciate it. God bless. Keep your head up. And as always, folks, as I say,
roll down Tide.
Roll Tide, roll. Love y'all. Ballard Sports Media. Check it out. Oh, hold on, too. Don't forget, Jesus loves y'all. Bye.
Okay. Roll down Tide.
Good boy, son.